like white wine vinegar because I like white wine. Okay.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so we put in just a soup slung of white wine vinegar.
A soup slung, that's about this much.
Yeah, about that much.
How much again, Dave?
About a smidgen.
Okay.
For all you guys that are measuring this out specifically.
Because it's very quick like this. This is why I don't bake, because things happen very badly.
Baking, you have to follow the
Very
recipes.
badly. Now we have to put in our bitter herb. So
Okay.
this is our methi, which is also fenugreek. And we don't want the stems because they get unwieldy. And
Okay.
you don't want a food that flosses itself.
This is true.
Right?
This is true.
So we'll
No
just...
self-flossing food. Remember that, guys.
Celery is a pain. Okay, and if you're using dried fenugreek, if you're lucky enough to find dried fenugreek, you would use maybe a half a teaspoon or so for this amount. And this recipe,
That's 2 smidges and a dash.
and a dash.
So it would be very concentrated as opposed to the fresh green.
Exactly. And we don't want to use the whole batch because it will turn it into sort of the color of something you might find in a diaper. So, yeah, that's not real appetizing either. So we want to keep it, appetizing to the eyes as well as to the palate. So we're using methi leaf. You can use dried fenugreek instead. And now we're ready to whiz this up.
Cool.
Okay.
We're going to do some whizzing.
I'm using a Vitamix because I saved up all last summer to buy myself a Vitamix. They are expensive, but I have it insured.
Now,
You're insured?
now
I got a Ninja.
I've heard the great, wonderful things about Vitamixes. Now, I myself use a bullet. So for those of us at home that may not have that expendable cash for a Vitamix, would you suggest that the bullet can do the same sort of thing?
Absolutely. Any blender will do it.
Perfect.
We don't need to have it the consistency of silk. It needs to still have some chunks in it. Otherwise, you're just going to have this puddle of yum with a block of whoosh and a plate of salad.
Cool.
Yeah, so we
Awesome.
want some texture in this so that it's still
Are we doing all of
does-
this?
No, we're just going to
Okay.
do about that much, I think.
Okay,
That'll
cool,
do
cool.
it. And we'll do the rest of it for...
So here's about how much we have put into the blender now.
Yeah.
And again, you can use a regular blender at home instead of a Vitamix. And I love the bullet, so I would be doing this at home in my bullet.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's whiz this up. Now we also need to use liquid because otherwise this is just going to turn into like walnut butter.
Okay, what are we using?
We're going to use a vegetable broth. If you're not vegetarian or vegan and you wanted to use a chicken broth, take a low sodium chicken broth
Okay.
because we're trying to cut down on sodium intake as well.
Okay, cool.
There we go. So I've just got just a regular vegetable broth, and
Okay.
this does have some salt in it. So again, we're not adding any salt because this is going to provide all the salt that we need.
Perfect.
So what I'm going to do is put in that much. We'll give it a shake and see what happens, and we
That
will need
was,
to order more. To add more. Okay, turn that on.
Ooh, fancy.
Oh, this one can count the change in your pocket by radar.
Cool.
So we've just added some liquid here.
It's going to make a big noise now. Vegetable stock. So it's starting to seize up a bit.
So we're putting more vegetable sauce or liquid in.
That's looking good. And now we give her a snooze. Okay, that's done.
Beautiful.
So the sauce is basically done. What we have to do now is heat it up a bit to dry some of the sulfur out of the garlic.
Okay.
And get the bitterness out of the garlic. So our tofu is now done.
Okay.
And what we can do is take it out and we'll fry it to give it some texture. Because otherwise it is like eating flip-flop.
Flip-flops. For those of you that eat flip-flops, please don't be offended.
All right, so you can reuse the poaching liquid if you want,
Okay.
or just throw it out.
All right, so what are we going to take this and put it into the frying pan?
Take that and put it in the frying pan. We're going to put a little bit of nice quality olive oil in first.
All right, so what kind of oil are we going to be frying this in again?
This is an extra virgin small batch olive oil. You can use any good quality oil. The thing about olive oil is it won't take a high heat. So you're not going to be flash frying this. We're just going to get a nice golden crust on it. And we're going to finish can use that one too.
And what about coconut oil? Would that
Coconut
be?
oil would be fine, and
Okay.
coconut oil is a slightly higher temperature rated oil, so that will take a little higher heat on the stove. If you wanted to get a real strong crust on it, I would use a higher temperature oil, just for getting a nice golden color on it and yummy taste, because olive oil is yummy taste. I'd stick to olive oil, but
Okay.
again, don't put it on real high heat. And what we're going to do is we're just going to saute it gently, one side, turn it over, and then pop it in the oven.
Oh, yummy! Sounds
Yeah.
great.
All right. So here you go, Dave. Throw that in the pan, just
Okay.
like glug glug.
Glug glug.
Yep.
Okay, that was 2 glugs.
Perfect. Now crank up the dragon's egg there.
Okay, turn
Fire
it
her up.
All right. Now the pan should still be pretty hot from when we fried the onions, because we don't need, with a nonstick pan, you don't need a lot of
No, it's just needed to get the sizzle, right?
yeah, and fat is
And flavor.
So
Mm-hmm.